To I in Austin?
Is that you on the
Yeah,
phone?
I'm in Austin. Yeah.
Holy
Hey,
crap!
welcome.
You should come down to the
Mostly known
studio.
as Ebo Thorbus.
Sorry?
What?
Mostly known as Ebo Thorbus.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Well, so I had a question, which I think is a really secular question.
Okay.
And it comes by the way of an idea I have, which is what I want to share, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So, and I don't want to describe myself more than I have to because I think that would be wasting our time. So here's the thing. I think it's a legitimate thing to ask the question, what is the purpose of human life? Okay?
I think it's
and I have a thing, and I have a
good
thing to say
conversation
about
starter.
that.
Sure.
Okay, so here's what I have to say about it, and I'll say it. This is what I think the purpose of human life is. I would say this. I would say that the purpose of human life is for each of us to expand our ability and our willingness to experience and express love.
Okay. Question.
And I don't know whether that, before I let you talk,
Yeah, what's up?
I don't know whether that sounds like a religious idea or not, but it sounds like to me, it sounds like the most consistent theme in human experience. So I'm going to shut up and let you say what you want to say to me about that.
So do you want to take the first part of this, and then I'll
Sure.
jump
Yeah.
in, because it's going to be hard to
Absolutely.
stop me.
So question for you. Do you think that purpose is something that we assign, or do you think that that's something that exists outside of humans? Like, do you think that's something that's given to us by some omnipotent creator, or do you think that's a purpose that we choose to take on?
No, I think that's just a good summary on my part. And how anybody says it to themselves is completely their own choice.
If that's your personal philosophy, then I've got nothing to say about it. If you say that, that exists outside of us, that is some, dictate by an omnipotent creator or something like that, then I'm going to, start to get into those arguments. But if that's just your personal take, cool. We usually have the show to talk to people who, think that it's more than just themselves. So I guess I'm kind of surprised. Jamie, I'll turn it over to you.
More than just what?
Do you believe that there was a supernatural entity that created the universe?
I think it was an accident of
Okay. Do you think that what you're
explosion.
talking about as far as human purpose is at all related to the creation of the universe?
No. I think that what we are is human intelligence. What we are is human intelligence. That's just a summary. What I said is I'm a linguist, okay? So I can choose words in a way that I think are beneficial for well-being. And the way I see well-being is humanity accomplishing a sensible relationship with the planet.
Okay, so let me backtrack to your thesis here, which is that you believe the purpose of human life is to expand our ability to love. It wasn't those exact words, but it was along
those. Ability and willingness, experience and express. Ability and willingness, expand ability and willingness to experience and express love, yeah.
Yeah, we are the world, we are the children. So, is that
I'm going to have
limited
that song stuck in my head for the rest of the day, you asshole.
Yep. Is that expand our willingness and ability to love each other and fuzzy bunnies, love each other, fuzzy bunnies and sharks, love each other, fuzzy bunnies, sharks, and trees?
When you go with me to the question, what does that mean? The first thing I can say about it, the most simply, is caring. Okay, caring, wherever caring carries you. I think it's a matter of relationship. I think that relationship is the great fuel of human existence. And that wherever we build relationship, we're doing ourselves a good. So I think I'm just using the opportunity to share my ideas to see if I can press them into more than one mind at a time.
Right. So let me explore these ideas so that they can be expressed, I think, more clearly. So what I've heard is you talking about how it would be better if human beings had a greater capacity and willingness to feel and express love. Am I right in saying that?
Experience and express love. So a feeling is an example of that, yes.
Okay. I agree. I agree that would be better, that would be beneficial for the world, for human beings. Why should I call that a purpose?
If only because it's possible to have it be fun. If only because
I don't know how that relates to the word purpose. So part of the reason that we're sort of continuing this call, because there's a couple messages I'm getting where it's like, yeah, cool, we all agree. Wouldn't it be better if everyone was all lovey-dovey all the time and then there wouldn't be war? I agree. But the reason that I'm going to try and continue this call is that it appears to be full of a lot of imprecise language and imprecise thinking that's attached to vaguely expressed ideas of greatness and grandness and purpose, and that this is a line of thinking that I think is entirely unhelpful and generally dangerous for human beings, even when it's, even though in this particular instance it's being directed towards humans should be nice, which I agree, not to belittle the point that it would be better if human beings felt more love. I agree with this, but I wouldn't call that a purpose. I wouldn't describe it as the fuel of human life. I mean, I'm a big fan of poetry, but I think it should be in a poetry book and understood to be poetry rather than something profound about the human experience necessarily.
Well, okay, so I accept that your view is not yours alone. And, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that page too. Sorry, man. Jamie actually said that incredibly well. And I don't know if you've interacted like this before, but I kind of want to reiterate to you that we respect you.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a place of wanting to interact with you on a human level, but we don't respect ideas. And so if we come across an idea and we want to address it, talk about it and sharpen each other, what we do is we address the ideas. We can say an idea is bad without calling anybody holding that idea, less intelligent or because those are ridiculous things, right? We're here to help each other. We're here to grow. So please don't take, what Jamie said as a negative on you.
Yeah, it's just not about...
Yeah, it's strengthening you. It's sharpening you. And in that way, that was incredibly freaking succinct, dude. Nux. Mm-hmm. All right.
I can do it when I try.
You did freaking well. Does that help at all? I know that I actually got word, Jamie, the call is coming from inside the building. Which means that I actually get to get you a beer, and we can talk about it because I'm dead serious. It's about talking and enjoying this experience together. And while I appreciate the flowery language that you're using, I agree with Jamie that when you couch it in those terms, it starts to lose a lot. And it can be dangerous because other people use that kind of language to convince people of a lot of bad stuff. And so we just kind of want to...
adds to what you got to think about. You want to sanitize what I'm saying in those terms.
Well, I don't think it's
not so much
sanitize
what you're saying is it's, okay, I'm glad that you've ended up in a place that we can agree on. Yeah. Now let's talk about the path you took to get there. Because it appears that the path you took to get there relies on flowery metaphorical use and understanding of language and ideas, and is driven largely by a desire for a good outcome. You appear, based on the outcome you reached about human beings should love each other, to be a person who genuinely cares for humanity, which is good. If you were a person who had just slightly different feelings of humanity, I find it entirely reasonable to believe that you would use similar words in a similar fashion and then come to a vastly different conclusion about, I don't know, any aspect of the human relations. So the method by which you come to a conclusion about what you're saying is, well, this is the purpose of human life, and I'd like to press these ideas into as many minds as possible. I'm in a similar situation. I think that it would be better if every human being on the planet used scientific skepticism to determine what was true and what was could not be reliably concluded to be true. And I'd like to spread that idea. And from one idea spreader to another, I think it would be great if human beings loved each other, but I also think it would be better if you tightened up your language a little bit. Because when you're saying the purpose of life, how are you establishing that, and how is that different than this would be good for humans?
Science is in the essence of what I'm saying. You didn't hear that. That's the political part of me. Science is in the essence of what I'm saying.
So when you're saying it's in the essence of what...
detail.
Yeah, so when you're saying science is in the essence of what you're saying, do you mean conclusions about reality that have resulted from the application of the scientific method are at the heart of what you are trying to communicate?
I think that's a safely risky, water skiing yes to that. Because, science may be the best we have, and there's bridges to the unseen, but, science is the best we have.
So, to be clear, when you say the unseen in that sentence, do you mean something supernatural?
I mean the connection that people build, all the multitude of connections that people build among themselves, which are basically invisible.
To be clear, when you say connections
in their car.
Yeah, just really quick, to be clear, when you say connections, do you mean human interactions and like human connections in the sense that people use this relatively imprecise language? Is that what you mean? Or do you I
think that's fair, yeah.
Can a person have the type of connections that you're referring to, presumably there's a specific meaning to your words that you're using there. Can a person have that kind of connection to their car, for example? Or is it just humans? Okay, so I think that's cool as well. I don't think that has anything to do with what could be called a purpose to humanity, and I'm still not at a point where I understand what you mean when you say a purpose to humanity. Like what?
Human life, yeah.
Human life.
It's just a seductive thing. It's just a seductive thing about making sure. I really, politically, I'm in a place where I think it's right for humanity to make sure it doesn't destroy itself.
We agree.
I agree.
As well as that's possible.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
that's what's really motivating where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Ground of being.
Some of the way that you're talking about this makes it sound like there's something potentially just beyond the words you're using that means life force of the universe, essence of existence that is imparting this meaning. Just as a person who's had conversations that have gone almost exactly like this one up until this point where the person I'm talking to has then said, oh, yes, and the stars told me this was true.
Yeah, I've had that exact conversation too.
Do you mean because we are social creatures and care about each other, we should find the best way forward for ourselves, and that includes feeling and expressing more love and setting our goals towards something like humanism?
Well-being?
Ideas like humanism are methodologies, which are, the more decent, the more legitimate.
Dig it. Okay.
Okay. So I think for today we're going to move on because we've got a few calls and we're coming up on the end of the show. Can I get you to call back in at some point?
We're still having that beer.
Yeah, we're still having a conversation after this, but you should call in as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for calling, Brian.
All right, bye.
All right.